What's up, guys? Rob Optimal Bodies. Now, today we're talking about the three biggest myths to do with diet and nutrition and health in general. So, you might disagree with some of these, and a lot of the time it's completely backwards and probably the opposite of what you actually get taught in schools or what you've heard and what's common knowledge, what's on adverts and what people want you to hear and they want you to believe. But if you look into the research, credible, peer-reviewed, proper studies, you'll see that a lot of it's backwards, a lot of it's lies, money-making schemes, and just they'll tell, for example, like Kellogg's come up with stuff saying like you need fibre and saturated fat's bad, stuff like that, for example, so you'll buy their product, and we'll go into that as well. So be open-minded, always be sceptical, and even be sceptical what I'm saying, look into the research and then see if you agree with what I'm saying. Okay, so I've got three. We're going to keep them simple, but I'm going to go into detail of all three. So, number one, you'll heard this, saturated fat, it's bad, isn't it? Wrong. Okay, saturated fat is essential for your cell membranes, basically every cell in your body, your muscle cells, your bone cells, your liver cells, your brain cell, every cell membrane has protein and fat in them. So fat, it's a form of energy, it's a form of your cells, it's a form of just your whole body, your human body, and you're made of animal tissue, and that's what you're made of it. So you need to eat it and replace it constantly. Cells are getting broken down and building up. Essential hormones, testosterone, estrogen, etc., are made from fat, made from cholesterol, saturated fat. You need them; it's essential. So again, this went back 40 plus years ago. The saturated fat was bad. It's based on really biased, poor research. They've even fixed the findings, the results to put it in their favour that saturated fat bad, and people have just gone on this bandwagon, and it's actually made us unhealthier by cutting it down. So it doesn't clog your arteries, okay? Arteries seem to be clogged, or you get cholesterol build-up in your arterial walls because of inflammation and damage to that area, and that is seen to be caused by excess sugar, carbohydrates, which I've spoken of before. So usually if you've become type 2 diabetic, it's going to be a lot worse. So excess sugar, harmful to the inside of the artery walls. Damage is done. Cholesterol comes in to help repair the damage, which I'll speak of in a minute. Not a problem. The cholesterol needs to be there. It's not the cholesterol that's the problem. It's the damaged arteries from the excess sugar that it seems to be causing the problem, causing this inflammation. Okay, so biased studies. Fat is our friend. Fat is what you're made up of. It's a high percentage of every cell in your body. Saturated fat can raise the HDL, which is classed as known as the good cholesterol, which takes cholesterol away from cells back to the liver. So if you look at cholesterol in that way, it can actually help and cause health, not an increase in this LDL cholesterol that people speak of. Okay, so it's a higher fat diet, lower carbohydrates and sugar that is shown to be healthy in the research. You look into it, you see people that do this diet, they look healthy, they lose fat, they've got more energy, their cells are better, everything's performing well. Okay, so saturated fat, get that out of your system. Get it in your system. If you're going to eat it, get it out of your system. That's a bad thing. Number two, which sort of leads us on to, is cholesterol. Okay, people say, "Oh, I've got high cholesterol," because they go for like an over 50s check, or if they're having some sort of heart issues, anything like that. You get a cholesterol check. It's part of this healthy medical assessment, and it's actually shown that high cholesterol is linked with living longer, which is completely opposite of what you might have heard. So high cholesterol is not an issue. Cholesterol is actually, so they'll measure it, they'll do HDL or LDL cholesterol. These are lipoproteins that actually carry cholesterol around the body, to and from cells, to and from the liver, etc. Okay, so having high cholesterol is not associated with heart disease. 50% of people that actually have heart disease have normal range cholesterol, but it's shown to actually have high cholesterol is actually a good thing. Okay, so it's a very poor indicator of health. Even though you get told you have high cholesterol, you're in this certain range, right? Go on a statin. This is a multi-billion-pound industry, so you got to be skeptical. GPs, doctors, medical professions, they've got budgets to sell these statins. They've got these budgets to make, and there's a lot of money to be made. Okay, so look at it in that way. They want to get you on statins. They want to basically they want to decrease your health, because that's what these statins are doing. Statins are shown to actually cause diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and then type 2 diabetes is linked to heart disease. But you're taking statins to try and help your heart disease. So you can actually cause yourself lots of problems. People go on statins, start getting muscle aches, they're fatigued, they get all sorts of problems. They're not good, okay? So always be skeptical. You want to change your diet and not resort to these medicines which are fueling the money, multi-billion pound industries, okay? So always be skeptical with that. So blaming cholesterol for causing heart disease and blocked arteries is like blaming the police for being at a scene of a crime, okay? So let's say there's a burglary, house gets burgled, a neighbour sees it, they ring the police go, and then you blame the police for being there. The police are there because there's a problem. Cholesterol's there because of the problem. Cholesterol's there to heal these damaged arteries. Police are there to help catch these burglars. So just because they're at the scene of the crime doesn't mean they're causing the crime, okay? Remember that one. And my last one, very controversial, but it's about vegetables. And in my eyes, and from what I've seen at the research, this isn't just my making up of all this. This is what I've extrapolated from the research. Vegetables can be highly unnecessary and can actually be unhealthy, okay? That's completely backwards. So, yep, 5 a day, eat your fruit and veg, which I've spoke about fruit before. But you imagine, as humans, animals, whatever, if someone's coming to attack someone, you can either fight or you can run away. You've got that fight or flight. You're a plant, stood in the ground. What can you do? You can't run away, you can't move. So the plants, as a protective mechanism, produce chemicals and pesticides. And so basically they make themselves to either taste horrible or be poisonous to warn off predators to stop them eating. That's their survival mechanism. Then we get told to ingest these plants. We ingest the chemicals, these natural pesticides that they produce. And that's before getting onto ones that get sprayed by farmers to increase production or make them last longer, shelf life, etc. So you've got to be skeptical where consuming this plant matter, okay? And this is linked to inflammatory problems in the body. So ingesting these can cause unhealthy side effects. You might get skin rashes, acne, all sorts of things. So should we be ingesting this plant matter? It's looking like we shouldn't. We're more towards carnivores. So like you can get everything you want from eating meat and animal products, vitamins, minerals. When you go on a low carbohydrate diet, your vitamin C level, for example, the vitamin C requirement drops because glucose and sugar and vitamin C compete for the same transporters in the body. So you reduce your carb intake, you reduce your vitamin C need. So you can get all you need from meat and animal products. And then if you're worried about anything, you can eat organ meats like liver and kidneys, which are really high in the vitamins side of things if you think you're not getting enough. But you get people on carnivore diets just eating meat, like literally just steak for years. They don't get scurvy, which is a lack of vitamin C. So why don't they get scurvy? It's because they're getting enough from the meat, and they don't need it because they're not eating carbohydrates. Carbohydrates changes the game. Sugar changes the game. You need more of things because sugar's causing a problem in the body. Okay, and then you might think about, right, I might need fibre. If you look at the fibre side of things, fibre is just indigestible plant matter. So yeah, you might excrete more. It might give you bigger bowel movements, but you don't get a prize at the end of your life for having the most bowel movements, okay? When you eat meat, there's only like a small amount is excreted because your body uses all that amount, okay? So if you're going to the toilet a lot and producing large amounts, it's just because you're putting more in that can't be digested, your body gets rid of it, okay? And actually high fibre is shown to cause constipation. There's a lot of studies where they get people with constipation on low fibre diets, which might sound the opposite, and the constipation goes away because they're eating all this indigestible plant matter, and it's basically just clogging them up. Okay, they take out the equation, they start having regular bowel movements, and the problem goes away. Okay, and then the fibre, that's all this undigestible plant matter, can be irritable to the bowels, so it's going through your intestines. Okay, small intestine, large intestine, etc., till you excrete it out. This can cause diverticulitis, etc. So IBS, Crohn's disease, damage to your digestive system, which is actually the opposite that you get told. You think that you get told that this helps it. So if you're having problems, digestive problems, skin problems, energy levels, you've been told you've got high cholesterol, look back at this video, look into the research and think about it logically, and it actually does make sense if you look into it, okay? No, it's a lot of controversial things, but be open-minded, and thanks for listening. Any questions, either post in the comments, drop me a message if you want to talk about something like personal issues to your medical evaluations, etc. Okay, thanks for listening, guys. Cheers.